We got excellent connection. Oh, hang on. We got excellent connection. Hang on. Let me go turn the kids' TV down. All right. And welcome to the parlay.
Appalachian variety.
Variety.
Woo. What's up, man?
Beautiful week, beautiful day.
Fuck yeah. Happy week.
Happy week. Had a decent week.
I did too, man. I can't complain.
I did something this week.
I did a lot of something this
I bought
week.
some Alpha Brain.
Yeah, I got like 3 bottles of it.
Yeah.
Shit was useless.
I mean, really?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well, you can have mine then.
Okay.
I found no results at all.
I've been getting big. Look, man, I'm not into the whole herbal medicine thing at all. I'm not into it, but I don't go to doctors.
Me either.
So when I have problems, naturally, they say never Google your symptoms, but I'm a firm believer for anything wrong with you, there's a natural
Absolutely.
counteract to it. So,
Absolutely.
man, I've bought a lot of vitamins in the last couple, and weird stuff, like saffron for ADHD, and there's a big thing about that.
Yeah.
And it works.
So, I have this issue where no matter how tired I am, I go to bed, I wake up at 2 o'clock to go pee. Every night, like clockwork. So I've been Googling a lot of shit too, looking up some recipes, figuring out. I found this one for sleep, if you want to try it. But it's a tea. You make a tea.
I see that.
Chamomile tea, apple cider vinegar, cinnamon, and lemon. And drink it half an hour before bedtime. And in 7 to 10 days, you'll be sleeping like a baby throughout the night.
I believe chamomile's a powerful...
At least that's what they say anyway. So I'm getting ready to go to Walgreens or maybe Drug Emporium where they got the Healthy Life Market.
Mm-hmm.
Get some chamomile tea and start trying that. But yeah, I'm all about that, bro. And you know what? Recently, probably within the past 3 or 4 months, I've really been wanting to kind of go back to school. Because maybe in like dietitian or registered dietary, something like that. Because, dude, I really feel like a lot of our problems with our health today is caused by the food that we eat.
Oh, yeah.
But the opposite side of that coin is a lot of our issues can be resolved by eating better food.
Absolutely.
So I've really been thinking about going back to school to get that dietitian or that nutritionist label behind my name just so I can start helping people. You go to the doctor and the first thing is they're like, oh, diabetes, insulin. But diabetes can be cured.
Right.
You don't have to go on insulin.
Right, but a
Blood
doctor will
pressure
never
can
tell
be
you
fixed. You don't have to be on pills.
Right.
But they don't ever tell you that. So that's something that's kind of been weighing on my brain here the last week or two, probably. Maybe a month or so. There's got to be a way to eat healthier and not be on all these pills that almost every American is on.
A lot of it, and a lot of it for me, is avoiding convenience.
Yeah, you eat out of Go-Mart because you're on the road 12 hours a day.
Yeah. I try not to, man. I mean,
it's hard. You got to
I'm
pack
guilty.
your lunch.
No.
Like that's hard.
No, I will starve all day. I'll eat a Reese cup just to keep my sugar up, and I'll drive all day, and then I'll come home to a decent meal. Problem is, I eat late.
Yeah.
So, sometimes if I know I'm going to be late, I'll just eat a hot dog in the afternoon. But I try to eat, I don't eat fast food. You know, I'll go to Sam's. I'll go to M&M Mart. You know, I try to eat decent when I eat.
When you're out eating, you try to eat decent.
Yeah. Sheets. Sheets. Those little fruit cups at Sheets get me through a lot of days.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I never have been big on fruit.
Oh, the meat and cheese ones, too. Whoever thought of the meat and cheese trays at Sheets, kudos. Like, those things are great. They only give you, like, they keep getting smaller with inflation.
Of course they do.
No, really. Like, last year, it was like you opened it up and you couldn't eat the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't eat the whole thing. There was so much in there. Now it's like you open it up and you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of cheese. 8 pieces of steak. You can see exactly what's in there. Used to be they were full.
Yep. Heck yeah.
Yeah, man.
I hear you. So what else happened in your week? How was everything? How was the taxi cab adventures?
Pretty lax. Nothing to report. I've had this horrible bed bug fear the last couple weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, I picked up somewhere and I got home that day, and every day when I come in the door I take a shower. It's absolute. When I come in the door, it's my sweaty back, just my back alone, where I've been in that seat all day, you know. Every day when I come in the door I hop in the shower. And washed the bug off of me. Ooh, I jumped out of the shower soaking wet, ran through the house, grabbed everything I was wearing today, threw it out on the front porch, went back to the shower and finished my shower.
Damn. Damn.
Sprayed everything with bed bug spray.
The cab and shit. And...
Told them, well, they treat. All I got to do is call. As soon as that was what this waterproof case. I was literally in the shower on the phone with my boss. And he's got to treat that cab. I was off the next day anyway. So I'm like, you got to treat that cab immediately. Right. And they're cool about that. Like,
bomb that shit.
Throw one of them grenades in there, close the door, walk away.
Yep.
I'm not afraid of a lot of things. So, look at our stream. We're doing good this week.
Yeah, it's nice and
strong.
strong.
We start getting some people on here. We can actually have a show. Fuck yeah.
Well, now that we got a reliable signal, I think we might start being able to...
Anything newsworthy to you this week?
Yeah, I found a couple things. Found a few things. Stumbling across my TikToks and my YouTubes. I found some interesting tidbits. If you go, and anybody can do this if you like, if you go, you can do it on your phone. It wouldn't matter. You go to whitehouse.gov and type in North American Union.
Don't make me do this. Doug, get out of my head. You gonna make...
So I thought this was funny.
I'm just prepping. Go ahead with your North American Union, because there's a point. I've had this conversation with myself today. This is why I don't need to be taking 2 alpha brains at a time. Because this, go ahead.
Yeah. So apparently there's a plan in the works to unite all of the Americas, from Canada all the way down to the tip of South America, and create the North American Union.
Okay.
Now, what's not clear, or what I haven't found, is whether this is a retaliatory move from the creation of BRICS, or is this a move towards the New World Order, towards the globalism.
Okay, so South America, I'm just going to count South America as one.
Yeah.
Because everything Venezuela does, Peru does. Everything Peru does, everybody follows.
Yeah.
Every time. So South America is just South America. Okay, so let's play this little game. Russia, America. Okay? We can call it Russia or BRICS in America or NATO. We can do that. It's fair. Okay, so we're going to have a North American Union. Okay? The U.S. is all in. We are NATO. There's nothing we can say here. That's NATO. We're at war with Russia. Literally. Okay? So, Canada. Has Canada talked about joining BRICS?
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. but they're also a member of NATO. Okay? Now, BRICS, it's already in the news. I've been reading. BRICS is going military in July. So they are a direct retaliatory toward NATO. You are correct in the retaliation thing. BRICS is a retaliation toward NATO. They will go military. And they do involve all these countries we've talked about, which is kind of scary, but that's conversation for the next one. Okay, so Mexico gets all their weapons from Russia. We've talked about that. They're talking about joining BRICS because South America already has. Okay? Russia is already eating up. I mean, as far as we've talked about when BRICS started and we did our economics episode, we discussed how Russia and China were investing all this military, economic, and mining resources out of South America, right? So South America is all about Russia. So Mexico, they're rich with us right now about the cartels and shit. So that's a -1 on us. Trudeau's a bitch. He's going to do whatever whoever has the biggest hands tells him to do. He's not loyal to anybody. So that's both sides. But I don't think a North American Union is looking... Because the only reason they want the North American Union is because if you have a North American Union and you have a European Union and you can manage somehow to get a
African Union,
Eastern Union,
East Asia or whatever.
Yeah, East Asian whatever. That's a quick way toward a one world order. That's a quick 3-step process. It's easier than taking over all these little countries.
Right.
But could Trump, and I hate to say this, I shouldn't say this, so I'll skip Trump. Could Clinton, could Bush, could fucking Eisenhower have probably pulled this off? Absolutely. But man, Biden's fucked this pooch till it just wants to stay in the doghouse. This ain't happening under the Biden presidency.
No, I don't believe that either. Well, number one, it's not a priority.
If you're trying to accomplish a one world order and a one world currency, and you're trying to do it in a hurry before the Russians can, like it's a space race, it's in a hurry. But economically, right now, man, I'm sorry, BRICS is a lead horse.
No, it's not.
Yeah, they are.
No, that's not.
They're growing.
Bro, they can grow as much as they want, but you cannot say that BRICS is the power horse. The fucking American dollar is still king. The American dollar constitutes for 66% of the world currency.
We're still king.
BRICS is less than 1% of all the world's currency. Yes, they're growing. Yes, they're a threat to monitor, but they are not going to be taking over the U.S. dollar anytime soon.
You're right. The U.S. dollar is still king.
For now.
But they're inside the castle. The king's got himself locked in the tower, hoping they don't get to it.
I think, let's go ahead, we're going to pause on this conversation real quick.
All right.
I think moving forward, like all of our episodes, all of our podcasts, we have to have rules. And your drawings, ixnay on the drawing A. Because, bro.
Fine.
Have you seen this show? There's this show on YouTube. It's called Infographics.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Talks about it and
badass though. I can't draw shit.
As soon as you started drawing the castle, I was like, wow, he's talking about the castle. Like, I see this fucking this YouTube channel I've been watching recently on that shit.
But no.
But yeah, I thought that was an interesting little read.
You know, and I'm going to bring him up, and you're not going to like it. Hang on. Well, I'm talking about it. Back in 2001, 2002, maybe 2011, there's some ones in there. There was a documentary made that talked about this. And nobody wants to watch it because of who made it. But he literally lines out the entire.
Oh yeah, this is the fat dude
that said the dumb shit.
Super lefty dude.
No,
This guy?
this is Alex Jones.
Oh, Alex Jones. No, there was another one that. What's his name? Mike.
See how good I am at this. There's a point in here where he talks about the North. Oh shoot! I literally had it on the frame. I lost it. Somewhere in here.
Hid their treachery in plain sight.
I thank the Chancellor and Josie very much for the transatlantic economic integration plan.
And for that too, we need to develop a common market, common standards.
Transatlantic economic
So this is indeed a
integration plan.
very important, because in a concrete manner in which we can make it move forward.
The BBC reported that the US and EU had agreed on a single market. By announcing a new economic community integration, they were simply repeating what had been done in America and the EU on a larger scale. The accord states that the two blocs will aggressively push regulatory convergence in more than 35 areas, from financial services, intellectual property, military, education, mergers and acquisitions. They also agreed to jointly push a global carbon tax.
We recognize that we have a problem with greenhouse gases.
We agree there is a global threat.
Shit was
it's a
made in
serious
2001,
threat.
John.
We agree we need to establish a limit to greenhouse gases.
We need to discuss the possible pricing of CO2. How can we translate
This is why you always thought I was
into
crazy,
economic
because I've been.
compatible schemes?
We have agreed to establish a high-level group, a forum.
This EU-US result is translated into the G8, debated together with the outreach countries, China, South Africa, Brazil, among others, and India.
A global solution to a global problem.
If Bilderberg succeeds, America falls. All the victimized countries lose their sovereignty.
Bilderberg is not a person. It's not an idea. It's an ideal. A very powerful group of people working together, and from their positions of ultimate and absolute power, destroying every constitution on earth. Really, no matter how powerful the constitution of the nation is, that's what these people do.
The African Union arose out of the African Economic Community, set up in the early 1980s. The African Union is financed by a consortium of international bodies, governments, and corporations. The African Union Army serves as an enforcement arm for the New World Order's exploitation of Africa.
That's why when you see UN troops, what do you see?
In Asia, APEC and ASEAN have announced plans to form the Asian Union, consisting of Asian and Pacific nations, having more than 3 billion people within its borders.
APEC will become the Asian Pacific Union, and the world is to be divided into three big regions for the administrative convenience of the world government in which the UN is to evolve.
As the unions form individually, they are simultaneously merged to form the first planetary government.
They're trying to destroy every nation on earth which is trying to promote progress, because these people basically they are landowners. They don't need progress because they control the land. If you take the most powerful man in London, the people who belong to the Council and the Committee of 300, who belong to the Bilderbergers, the British royalty, the Guelphs, the black nobility of Venice and Genoa, these people they're landowners. the New World Order is the old World Order. I mean, it's just the names have changed, the appearances have changed, but the concept hasn't changed. The idea is still to bring the men back, kicking and screaming back to the Middle Ages, post-industrial age world order.
One of the things that is very shocking to most Americans is the fact that the United Nations Global Biodiversity Assessment, which came out in 1995, clearly shows that in order to protect planet Earth, we have to go back to a feudal system. They actually said that in the document.
To craft a modern feudal society, the globalists are implementing a standardized North American Union ID card to track, trace, and control.
Have you updated your new driver's license, John?
Nope.
Have you got the new federal updated...
Nope.
Remember when I was crazy?
Whenever they make me do it, I guess I'll get it. But until then, I ain't.
Yeah, man. I mean, this stuff's...
But yeah, it was right there on the White House website. I mean, so it wasn't just some, fly-by-night website that I...
Yeah, no.
Legitimate.
Well, I mean, you know how many times I've showed somebody... It won't even record now. It's making me mad. But that's okay, because I've learned how to take off of the streams. You can go back to them and suck everything off. But anyway, I'll fix it. Dude, I've been saying this for years. Like the one world order thing is very real.
Yeah, but it's the long game.
Oh, it definitely is. It's very much been the long game. It's not going to
happen while we're alive. Like you need to get a few more generations. You need to get a few more generations enslaved to the idea.
I don't know, man. I think you could have our grandchildren could be full on idiocracy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Our grandchildren.
My grandchild was just born.
I'm
sure I'll see him graduate high school.
Yeah, my oldest is 9.
So it's on a lifespan. I think we'll see it. My fear is I'll be too old to do anything.
That's the thing. That's the only way is when we get into our 60s and 70s.
Right.
Then our grandkids generation are going to be. They're not being taught about our freedoms and about how important they are, and by the time our grandkids grow up, they're going to lose a lot of their rights probably.
So I got sent a video by a good friend of mine named Mike. Shout out to Mike Atch.
What's up, Mike?
Yeah. I don't know if it'll play via... stream. But it has to do with Robert Kennedy.
Yeah, how he announced and had like less than 1% of the polls, and 3 days later he's up to 15%.
Now,
something like that.
As much as that's true, and as impressive as that is alone,
in like 4 days,
I would like to point out that the man came out on stage to speak as a Kennedy and had less than 1% of a vote, but he registered. If me or you right now had the money and we announced a presidency on a stage, we would start at 0.0.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have shit. This man said, I'm Robert Kennedy. 0.01.
For sure. Anybody other than Biden.
It started announcing his policies and it was like 0.2, 0.8, tick, 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 like these. Now, you know what? And I know this is some far-fetched stuff to say. This isn't going to happen. But it won't let me put it up. I'll send this to you, though. I guess I could play the audio. It's 6 minutes long. But it's Robert Kennedy and the CIA. Basically, it's talking about... He knows who killed his dad. This is family issues. This is why they get rid of that family when they pop up. You know what I mean? Like,
so this is...
If you believe in the Illuminati or the Cabal or just simple, an extremely corrupt group inside our government that's intended to basically do what this was talking about a minute ago, then it's explained, and he knows that. He understands the roots of that. And the things he's saying are very, not in this video so much, but in some of his stuff, very, not QAnonish, but how do I want to say, borderline Trumpish for a Democrat.
Well, you know,
like, he's saying a lot of the same things that
he's going to do just like a lot of other Democrats do. They're going to poll well. You know what I mean? But polls are skewed. We know that.
Right. Well, yeah. You can't tell.
Apparently, I follow a couple people on Twitter that are definitely left-leaning just to see what other people think. Apparently, there's a Fox News poll. I can't find it. Fox News poll. Over 80% of Fox News viewers vote in favor of 5 or 6 new gun laws. I'm like, you're a fucking liar. You're a motherfucking liar. Like, so it doesn't matter if it's true. All that matters is that guy has millions of followers and it got in front of eyes. That's all that matters.
Right.
It doesn't have to be true anymore.
You know what? But the people who are against gun laws only get angry when they see some shit like that. The people who are really against, like, you know, I don't trust gun law reform. I think gun restrictions should be lightened.
Like none.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of being an adult, you know, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, once you open a door, you know, should mentally ill people be allowed to have firearms?
I mean, my common sense side says no.
Who says whether or not you're mentally ill?
My freedom side says, as I was getting ready to bring up, like who determined what
determines mental illness?
Right.
What are the guidelines for mental illness? Who's determining the guidelines for mental illness?
Is anxiety mental illness?
Who's my counselor and how do they feel about firearms? Much less mental illness.
Right.
Do they just not like me? Like, you know, like you open the door and you look what's inside and then you're like, you know what? No, you don't need this law because there's too many areas for gray. And a lot of like conversations I have, because I like to argue on Facebook. It's that I got a couple people I adore arguing with. Like, I've grown respect for them because they really know how to gaslight some shit. You know what though? I made it clear the other day because somebody popped up. I was arguing with my boy Finney. Me and Finney don't agree on shit. I think he's just like me. I think he'd tell you that shirt's red just
to have a discussion or a conversation or
just to argue about it.
Right.
Yeah, and not lay off. Swear to the end that bad boy. Red. Okay, maybe it's not red, it's green. Love him to death. But I was like, look, you know I argue with these guys all day, every day, but truth of the matter is, if Red Dawn happened tomorrow, I'd sling one of them a gun and be like, get to work, and I'd fight right next to them. We're all Americans.
Yep.
They're skewed from some lies they've heard and that they believe and they want to believe, and so am I. So, I was one of them guys that was pro-Iraq war. I was one of them kill them all motherfuckers back in 01.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I was right there with you.
You know what I'm saying? Kill them all, you know? Who are you calling Islamophobic? I was one of them motherfuckers, and now I'm a little further down the road, and I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, I was almost ready to join back up.
Yeah.
I had just got out of the Army.
Yeah, so you know, we all grow, we all learn. You know?
I got out of the Army in 99.
I was watching war footage on TV.
I was still fresh.
I was watching war footage on TV, wishing I could be there.
Glad I didn't. But.
No. But no, like we all grow and we all learn. They've been fed some bullshit information, and if you keep throwing receipts at them, they'll. Well, okay. And well, okay is good enough, because that means I poke my head in there and planted that seed.
Right.
It'll grow.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Some people don't have the ability to grow.
No. Some people
Which is
don't.
a good majority of them on Facebook.
People.
You are definitely not changing minds.
No, people grow relationships with their morals. It's a basic life fact. You grow relationships with your morals. You want your morals to be right. You want your morals to be true. If I took you overseas right now and you saw somebody getting their hand cut off for stealing, and I was like, nah, dude, it's cool. You'd be like, it's what? No, it's just what it is here. It's cool. You wouldn't be cool with it for a few minutes. You're like, that's not right. You know? But to them, if you walked over there and said you can't do that, they'd look at you like you were a madman.
You're next, bro.
Yeah. So, you grow relationships with your... For me to have the conversation with a man right there on the street who's about to cut off a man's hand for stealing in a market in the Middle East, that's wrong, like a Jehovah's Witness, we're not going to come to a conclusion.
No.
You're going to have to put that man on an airplane and bring him to America, show him our justice system and how it works here, and then sit down with a hot cup of tea and have a conversation with him there about why you feel, and then maybe you guys could come to an agreement. Maybe.
Maybe. Highly unlikely.
But without the other view, he can't pick it up. You can't fathom some things.
Dude, everybody.
You ever wonder what a dog's dreaming about?
Probably just running through the fucking woods.
You think so? You don't think he's barking at some creature that you can't fathom to imagine, that you can't see with your own...
No,
Is he growling at like a 7-headed bear? Like, is he running from like?
Like to think my pets are innocent.
Is he dreaming like that he's running from like 14-headed snakes that are 23 foot long? Sometimes my dog will be growling and kicking, and I'm like, damn, what's he dreaming about? Like, you know, if you can't see things from their point of view, you don't understand.
Right. It's just like...
And Santa Claus is my favorite analogy. When it comes to arguing with somebody on a subject that they don't understand, Santa Claus, especially with media, Santa Claus is always my favorite analogy. You grew up growing... You know what? You've got kids, and so do I. We've done this. So it's not that difficult. We told our kids that Santa Claus existed. I did. Did you tell your kid Santa Claus existed?
For sure.
Who else told your kid that Santa Claus existed? The school?
Schools. Grandma, grandpa. I mean...
The doctor?
The whole world.
Take a shot. You got to be good for Santa Claus. You know what I mean? Like, Santa Claus, you can watch Santa Claus on NORAD. Hell, the government told you about Santa Claus.
Right.
Everybody told you about Santa Claus. Collectively, work together, would stand in a room together and be like, yeah, Santa Claus. Santa Claus wasn't real, dude.
All these adults were like...
All it took was an agreement amongst a bunch of people to fucking make up this story and stick to it. And boom. Now imagine those adults are billionaires who control everything you see on your TV. And they talk to the guy that controls what you see on your social media. And he talks to the guy that controls what you see on your YouTube. And he talked to the guy who talks on the news. And he talked to the guy that does the advertisement for fucking Pepsi. And he talked to the guy that worked over at Pfizer. And he talked to the motherfucker that, well, all they had to do was call BlackRock or Vanguard. And bam, everybody's on board. And I mean, this works with not just, this works with every subject. Let's go down the line. Everything that we talk about every week, this goes into all of them.
Right.
Dudes from the FBI called Twitter. Twitter called MSNBC and said the laptop's bullshit. Fauci called Twitter, some news stations, and the CDC, and they told us ivermectin was fucking horse medicine. Dude.
Oh, and you forgot that Anthony Blinken went to Agent Morell, I think his name was, and Agent Morell got 50 of his friends to sign a letter stating that the Hunter Biden laptop was disinformation. It just came out that letter was forged. That was all 51 of them knew they were faking the letter. They were doing it as a favor to a colleague. It just came out. I just read about it.
Ho, ho, ho. Dude, Santa Claus. It's Santa. It's Santa Claus. It's not. It's everything. It's how everything works. It's Santa Claus. They just all agree, they all sit down at a table and they agree this is the line of bullshit. It is what it is.
Yeah, which is probably another reason why you won't see the re-election of Trump.
I don't think we'll see another election.
The powers that be will not allow it. They just won't.
Well, I don't think we'll see another election. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll get one or two more, I think.
I don't think we will. I honestly, legitimately believe that this is why I'm a conspiracy theorist, though. I think we sent all that equipment over to Ukraine. All right, I've asked this question 1,000 times, and I, oddly enough, feel like I'm getting it answered. Where did Hitler stockpile all the uniforms and tanks and everything before the invasion of Germany? I mean, the movement went from a political standpoint to a chancellor in power to overnight a foreign military. It was a foreign military. I know. But no, there was a German army. This was a foreign military. The party military, I'm not going to say the word out loud. The party military was I know it was comprised of locals, but it was a foreign military. It was, if the United Nations showed up on U.S. soil, that's foreign military.
Yeah.
That's not U.S. military. So this is foreign military that just, hey guys, get up. No, wait, stay in your houses. Like, anybody seen anybody that looks like this? Anybody of any age? Anybody seen any of these people? You know what I mean? Like that's that quick. So my conspiracy theory again is that this money that's been laundered, we've been watching all this money get laundered, and watching all this military gear get moved to be repainted. I think he's preparing for a false flag event or a forced event. In other words, shut down the currency and watch us fight. And then we're going to come in for peacekeeping. If we're under martial law, there's no election. They've already said they don't want debates. They've already
canceled debates. The DNC has anyway.
You're not going to let
You can't debate the president. He's incapable of debate.
So Kennedy can't even have a debate for the primary.
No, he could probably debate another Democratic candidate.
I would.
Maybe.
There's got to be debates.
Yeah, but they're not. No one's going to get a chance to debate Biden. He's not. He can't think on his toes like that. You saw he just had a cheat sheet.
Well, then how is he our president?
Where do you want me to start?
Oh, hey, Christy. They called collusion within big tech. It's called a lot of things. We got a good signal. We're finally hardwired in. Hope y'all are doing well.
Yep. Happy May.
Happy May. It's been a couple weeks.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
we tried it. We tried.
I live in a holler. We got all new Ethernet and stuff this week though, so yeah. I went big.
We back.
We back. Got better sound.
Yep.
But what else
Yeah,
has been
man.
going in the news?
Shit, there was something that was.
What's the white haired guy's name? I mean, he is all up in the Biden family's arse. What's his name? He's been in all the YouTube videos I've been watching lately.
You talking about the congressman?
Yeah.
James Comer,
Yeah.
Kentucky. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I think so. He's been all over this Biden investigation. He said we're up to 12 family members.
And none of them's Joe, though.
No, they're all very... No, he said it the other day. He said it out loud. I promised we wasn't going to do this week, but no, he said it out loud the other day. He goes...
We talked about this.
He said, make no mistake, and I quote, make no mistake, this is an investigation into Joe Biden. They've made to the conclusion through several whistleblowers and witnesses, all the way back to Tony Bobolinsky, he still counts. Don't forget about him. He's still talking. That Joe Biden is, without a doubt, the big guy. Testifiably, he is the big guy. Access to him is what we were buying.
Yep.
And it's like me and my buddy were talking about earlier. I was like, with everything that you think, I said, do you think that China bought Bagram Air Base and the top secret technologies on it with the millions of dollars they sent him? Like, what were they buying? Did they buy that? Was that an agreement? Like, we're going to give you all this money and you're just going to leave Bagram or we're going to come in?
Well, I mean, it had something to do with that. You know that Afghanistan is definitely...
Well, it's China's neighbor.
Well, not just that. It's like one of the world's richest deposits and shit to make batteries and microprocessors and shit.
Right.
Lithium or cobalt.
Oh, they got both.
Shit like that.
Lithium and cobalt.
But Afghanistan's rich in that shit. So if you're China and this new BRICS union only cares about raw deposit or raw mineral, you're making a move.
Well, no, man. When they first went in, one of the reasons I jumped on wanting to start a podcast was I put this together one morning. Like, I like sat down and was watching YouTube videos as we were pulling out. Because China borders Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
So, with China bordering Afghanistan, as we were pulling out, they were coming in. Let me get the numbers right in my head if I can remember. Was it $8 billion? They were giving Afghanistan in aid as we were leaving, with a promise plus to rebuild their infrastructure. And as they were doing that, they were giving them, I'm going to fudge the number, it was something crazy like $18 trillion or some $8 trillion or something in advance for minerals. So, okay, so that's like, you know what? Let's just call it $8.8 trillion that China gave to a freshly armed, because we left all that stuff at Bagram, a freshly armed Taliban.
So now they got a little bit of money. And
so literally,
they got a whole bunch of weapons. And
technically, the Taliban has the means to straight up, we'd kick their ass. But if they just wanted to come over here and be assholes, they got the money and means to come right up our southern border and be some dicks. If, you know what? What if they decided they wanted to come over here and team up with the Mexican cartels on the southern American border?
I mean, I think that's kind of like...
That's far-fetched. But I mean,
like
we
walking
let...
into the hood and be like, yeah, I'm trying to partner on your block here, bro.
But I mean, yeah, it is.
I'm pretty sure the Mexicans would just murder these motherfuckers.
Yeah, they'd probably... You know what? The Mexicans would probably scare them. They'd probably be like, you put people in buckets? I'm going to fuck home, man. We don't mutilate bodies where I'm from.
Just take off their fucking head.
We shoot people. We behead people. We'll throw rocks at you till you're dead. But the whole necktie and the pickle bucket, I gotta draw a line.
Even the Middle Eastern terrorists are like, whoa.
Whoa, guys.
Pump the brakes there, guys.
We just don't behave like that, dude.
We might be sand people, but we got some culture, bro.
Our God gave us permission to do these things. Who told you that was okay? Don't you have a mother?
He said our God told us this was okay. I'm pretty sure the Mexicans are like Catholic, so you know what I'm saying? They're like, their white guy doesn't have a clue what's going on. Wow.
You know, a lot of shit pops off, we gotta take it from the cartels. Like pulling up in a trash trunk with the saws in the back.
Right. Yep. So, question for you to ponder.
Yeah.
How do you recognize the collapse of society? Are we living in the beginning stages of the collapse of our society?
I don't even know if we're in the beginning stages anymore.
Like further stages?
I feel like the beginning stages, and this is going to be funny, but I feel like the beginning stages was when we stopped talking to each other. And we stopped talking to each other with social media. And then COVID hit. And that made us comfortable with not talking to each other. And just talking on social media. I feel like our communications are breaking down. In any relationship, when the communications have broken down, it's 50% over. And I really feel like that's where we're at. And I mean, there's what's going on with us, and then what's going on with them. And I don't understand why. And I very much try hard to preach this message to the world. We have to cut divides where we can. If there's anything we can agree on a subject, we should find that divisive line, and we should agree on it. You know, and I said, like somebody the other day, what are you talking about? I said, okay, I'll grasp one out of the air. George Floyd, police brutality. Okay, no, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I feel bad for, like, I know the whole story. You know, like the dude who robbed a pregnant woman. There's all these facts that you want to throw in that you don't, that will cloud the fact that either way, he was unarmed. He had not committed a violent crime, and he died in police custody.
Yep.
He's not a black man. He's an American citizen. Very simply. He's an American citizen. So when an American citizen dies in police hands, we should... My phone's going crazy. When an American citizen dies in police custody, we should demand an explanation. We should demand a full report. We should demand an understanding. If he had a gun, case closed. If an officer killed a man because he had his throat on the back of his neck too long, while people standing around plainly screamed, heard him screaming, "I can't breathe." Whether he was on drugs or not, you should have got off his neck. There's other ways to detain a person.
Yep.
So, where there's a divide here is, you're going to come at me with a bunch of racism, and I'm going to stop that. And I'm going to say, no. It's not about the fact that he was a black man. And it's not about the fact that he had priors. It's about the fact that at the moment, he was not a violent man. And even if he was struggling and fighting, that's not violence. No dog wants put in the back of the dog catcher's car.
Right.
That shouldn't even count. You should get that struggle. You shouldn't want to go to jail. Like, that shouldn't be a charge. Not wanting to go to jail shouldn't be a charge.
Right.
Making them work for their money shouldn't be a charge. I'm not saying you should. If you ran, that's running. But if they're putting you in your car and you're like, man, I don't want to go to the car, that shouldn't be a charge. Nobody wants to get in the car. But anyway, I feel like there should be an easement here. Like, you know, nobody wants to get in the car. If I come to you right now if they come through that door right now with a white coat and say, "Hey, somebody told us you were crazy," I don't care how sane I am, I'm not going to put my arms out for the white coat. Expect a struggle. But anyway, back to the digression. There's always room to break down a divide, and where there's room to break down a divide, I really try to take the high road and be like, you know what? You're right. Here's where you're right. You know, and and nobody ever gives me a real argument when I go to that point. I took the divide away. You're right, but here's why you're right. See, you've clouded it with this petty shit. I'm going to take the petty shit out and put real facts in. Now, without the petty shit and the real facts, we can agree on all of this.
Right.
You didn't need the petty shit. I took it out and you didn't even miss it.
Yep.
Like,
I get it. I mean, I just feel like we need to start putting our country first, our citizens first.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, rebuild our country from within.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
Just start a grassroots organization. You know, and get people talking again.
I'm not calling any presidential candidate, but I'm calling out all the things that I hear anybody say that's definitely on the right track. I can't say his name. Shami.
Oh, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Ramaswamy, he wants to fire everybody.
Yeah, and rebuild it.
I agree.
Yeah, especially the IRS part.
But
you know, because a consumption tax is the only fair way to tax people.
I'll say it out loud.
Billionaires don't pay personal income tax.
I'll say it out loud, though. Because he says, I want to fire everybody from up here to down here and replace them. And I'm like, yeah. There's one thing I've learned in the last two presidencies. It's, what if the other guy had done that? You know what I mean? Like, what if Biden decided right now, I'm firing everybody from here to here and replacing them all? I'd be like, man, this is the installation of the Nazi Party. I'd be scared to death. I'd have all kinds of crazy accusations. I'd be going through every one of these person's histories, finding out who the fuck they are. Why are you giving these people these jobs? Like, this is high-powered positions. Why are they just getting put in power by the new president? This seems very monarchical. Like, I looked at it from a devil's advocate point of view, and I'm like, it sounds great. But it scares the shit out of me, too, because I see so.
But they do it every time.
They do it every time.
Every time someone new is elected, the people that were previously in that position get fired. You know, maybe not all the way down into individual positions like IRS agents or whatever, Board of Education or whatever he was talking about eliminating. You know, maybe not individual positions, but all the way down to the secretary of that department gets replaced.
Right.
You know, by someone that's more aligned with that person's principles.
Right.
You know, so like it'd be no different. But the fact is, like, this country and the way we do things needs a major overhaul.
It definitely does.
You know, like,
I don't know. Does it need an overhaul?
Yeah, because
or are we doing things right, and we need to fix the people who are doing them wrong? Like, we know how our justice system is supposed to work. This ain't how our justice system works.
Right.
We know how our police system is supposed to work. This ain't how our police system works. Like, we know how our political system is supposed to work. You're just not doing it. You're like the asshole that came to play Monopoly with a bunch of weird rules.
Yeah. And that's why it just needs to be rebuilt from the ground up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, what made me think about this is I was watching some videos on 2001 about how the country came together after a tragedy. And I was like, you know, the country feels so divided here recently that...
Speaking of poison.
You know, where you were talking about a red flag event. You know, the way the terrorist attack in 2001 brought our country back together. You know, is that something that could happen? And
it could.
It could. Absolutely could. You know,
so how do you make a red flag? How do you make a red flag event that's divisive?
That's a good question.
You fake a MAGA doing it, and he's already paving that path. I mean, remember the big red weird castle speech with the red and the problem in this country is the MAGA crowd. Like, people had a ball with the memes, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
he looked so mean.
Yeah, he did. He was up here, like
some cornholios and shit. Like
somebody actually drew a little mustache on him, and he's right here. Like, oh my god.
Oh, it was funny, man.
But yeah.
But yeah, I was just curious, you know, because like it feels like, you know, I never thought I'd live to see the day where it seems like talking about abusing children is talked about in mainstream media. You know, that's one of those subjects that was always kind of taboo.
Well,
you know,
but the thing is they talk about,
you know, not just abusing children, it's pedophilia, period. It's talked about so openly. Like, to me, that sounds like it's the beginning of the collapse of a normalized society.
But
that shouldn't be talked about.
You're right, but God, I want to get my whiteboard out again, because the problem is that it was all a big secret, and this is just my opinion and how I view it. It was all a big secret, and it got out. And by it got out, I mean Epstein Island, R. Kelly, Weinstein. It all got, yeah, you go all day. Those are traffickers. You know what I mean? Those aren't like, you know, but those are suppliers. Those are creepy people. So it all got out, and when it all got out, instead, and it's gotten to the point where they can no longer ignore it as a fact. It's out. It's out. It's there. So what do? You start making examples in the public that exist socially, and it's you start normalizing it. When the elite, every time the elite, the rich, the celebrities, the government get caught doing anything, all of a sudden you'll start seeing more of it on regular news. And you'll see these people going to jail for it, and you'll forget about the whistleblowers. How many leaked whistleblowers have been protected since 2016? Leakers, whistleblowers, hackers, everything that came out on Donald Trump, everything that's came out about Supreme Court rulings, juries, During the Rittenhouse trial, jurors claimed they were actually threatened, like they were actually contacted.
Yep.
Like all that shit. They never found anybody responsible or found a lead. Only 1 of 6 people could have leaked that Supreme Court ruling.
Right.
And they can't narrow that the fuck down. But whoever leaked that shit onto a Minecraft server, they found that 21-year-old in a fucking matter of days.
Hell yeah, we had this conversation last week.
But so,
if he'd have leaked that information to a New York Times reporter, he'd be a hero. He'd be a whistleblower. He'd be protected as such. But because he leaked it on a Minecraft Discord, he's a fucking terrorist.
And is that because he didn't leak it to a journalist, or is that because he didn't leak it to a filter?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I tell you what.
That's a good question, really. I mean,
if I would have had that information in my hand, I wouldn't have gave it to a meet. You were liable to meet what's his name, Anderson Cooper, in a dark alley with it, and him shoot you personally in the forehead. He's a CIA agent. You can't call the news station. Half these people got CIA history. That's where it gets weird.
That's where it's all controlled.
I watched an actual documentary one day, and it was explaining how many people that work in media stations are actually CIA.
Well, dude, did you
agents.
see the clip on Joe Rogan where they showed all the news people saying the same shit like 30 different fucking times?
Yeah, I've seen that a bunch of times. And you know when that came
they're
out?
all connected.
Do you know when that came out? Right
like,
about the Hunter Biden laptop.
So yeah, so I mean, it's all connected. It's all. I mean, you got to find your own newsworthy sources, and
Absolutely. Like I do a lot of different news sources. I got to get you tied into the Substack, the Red Tree Substack that I get from Mike. I read. There's some good reads in there, and I feel bad. Like, dude, if you ever see this, I got to tell you, I feel bad that I don't reply a lot because I'm driving and shit. But when I get a chance to sit down and check stuff out he sends me, I usually get my mind blown. It's usually too much to take in sometimes. There's stuff that I already had an inkling. That's the thing about it, is I have an inkling of what I feel like is true and going on in the world. And I tend to be 88% right.
Right.
So what else is going on? I've been looking at campgrounds.
Yeah.
Thinking about going small this year. How do you feel about the Elk? But the upper side of the Elk, up by Clay.
Start with you.
Whereabouts?
There's a little campground that Joni's aunt used to own. Why can't I think of the name of it? But it's right off the Wallback exit. It's like right off the Wallback exit. Small campground. The girls have miles of railroad track to walk. And it's not active railroad track. Like they have train cars. And there's like the track goes along the river. So like they got room to roam. And dude, we can be on the river all day. And I'm pretty sure if the new owner doesn't have a return service for the kayaks, she knows the area.
I mean, I got a motor on mine.
Oh, so you can just tow my fat ass back up
yeah.
the river.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Which I'm taking the canoe. The
So
canoe's
I
a
want you to
must.
check this out.
Look, Ukraine was a sovereign nation. It was attacked and invaded illegally by a dictator who rules the end of the Soviet Union. Surely those of us who believe in the rule of law and international stability should be doing everything we can to make sure that Ukraine prevails, shouldn't we?
I don't agree with what you said in your question there. There were some opinions you put in there. And the thing is, with this conflict, it's actually started in 2014. We had the Minsk agreements where there was an agreement between NATO powers and Russia and Ukraine to give Crimea autonomy and to give the Russian-speaking people in the Donbass autonomy as well. But those agreements are broken. And what you have is the Ukrainian regime, the Poroshenko and then the Zelensky regime afterwards, have been bombing and shelling ethnic Russians in the Donbass area for 8 years, with 14,000 people at least being killed. And so I think what's happened there is that Putin has basically gone in what he calls a special military operation in order to try to protect the lives of Russian people in the Donbass, because Western governments in NATO were actively arming the Ukrainian government, which actually is filled with real Nazi battalions like the Azov Battalion and the Right Sector and so on. So it's not quite as how you laid out in your question. And the thing is, I think people in this
80%
country
of the
are
time.
completely fed up.
Everything that you've heard on the news in the past year since Russia invaded Ukraine is all not all truth.
No, but most of the crazy shit I've been telling you, been nailed on the head. Let me see if I can find this picture. It's a tank in Ukraine driving by, and it's literally got that emblem on it in the background. And Zelensky is like standing there giving an interview right in front of it as it's driving by.
The Azov Battalion, or
Yeah.
which is
Do
like
you know how many times the Republicans have tried to, like, okay, so every time we send money to the the Ukrainians, the Republicans try to put this bill in saying no funding shall go to any, and it's funny because the Republicans are the ones putting this in. No funding shall go to any white supremacist, race-oriented, or neo-Nazi, Nazi or neo-Nazi style organization. Like, it's like, it covers all the bases to make sure it's real clear. And the Democrats keep taking it out. Well, like, last year, they finally, like, last minute slipped it in there. And immediately, as soon as it hit, Zelensky absorbed the Azov Battalion into the main Ukrainian military. So that they could still receive their funding. But no, he even said in an interview, I can't find the picture and I'm starting to feel like a fool looking. He even said in an interview, he was like, they are what they are, which, let me say, I'm going to back this up with a devil's avocation when I get done. Because what he said was, they are in defense of their nation. They are what they are. But past that, they are just in defense of their nation. And I'm like, that's fucked up. They're Nazis. But I digress. Because if we were at war with China, say China brought their happy little asses over here and they wanted to scrap, and a biker gang full of fucking neo-Nazis with their heads shaved pulled up with some fucking Uzis and stood next to you and started shooting, would you?
I ain't saying shit.
So,
as long as them bullets are flying that way,
the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Damn right.
So, but I digress. They're Nazis. You gotta draw a line somewhere, you know,
yeah,
like
as soon as you kill the Chinese, you kill them.
Yeah. You're still Nazis, dude. Like, you know, but
thank you for the help, but you still have to die.
Yeah, you're Nazis. You should have chose not to be.
Right.
But no, like, so no, there's, and if you watch Ukraine on Fire, I keep telling you, watch Ukraine on Fire.
I watched parts of it, but I think I fell asleep.
Yeah, it's dry.
Yeah.
But you know what? So is Endgame. But I bet you go home and start that shit from the beginning tonight, won't you?
After 12, 13 hours, man, I fall asleep in my chair so easy anymore, cuz. Like, shit, getting old sucks. Like, I fall asleep quick in my chair, but I go to my bed, nope, I'll toss and fucking turn all night.
Dude, I will take 3 melatonin and not sleep. I will take a .03 children's melatonin. And that shit hits me like a Benadryl.
Dude, like...
There's no medical... Like, to me, there's no medical excuse for this.
So, something I learned. Benadryl and sleeping medication have the same active ingredient.
Oh, you damn right.
And Benadryl's half the price. So, if you need to sleep, take
Yeah,
Benadryl.
I agree.
But
But I could take a sleeping pill and get up in 8 hours.
yes, yeah.
Dude, Benadryl's put me out for 13. I don't know what they put in them things.
Well, I'm gonna give me some of them then.
If you come wake me up at 8 hours, I'm gonna be like cross-eyed trying to look
That's
at you.
what I need
Like,
right
I can't even. Dude, I won't take a Benadryl.
Dude, I get to this point like 8:30 at night, and like I can't wait to lay down in my bed. You know what I'm saying?
I drive all day. I feel
Like,
you.
and then when I go home, like I leave here whenever we're done here, I go home and sit down in my chair in 35 seconds. I'm like, and I'm like, but it is what it is.
I drive all day. And I'm like, man, when I get home,
You're kind of wired a little bit because you got all this pent up energy, but it's different kind of tired when you're behind the windshield.
yeah,
Like,
and I stand.
it's not physically, it's mentally.
Yeah.
Because your eyes, like, you got to have good sunglasses. You got to have a good seat cushion.
Yeah, and when I come home, I just stand. Like, I don't sit down for an hour when I come home. I stand. I
It's
can't.
like you come home and just instantly pick up the weed eater or do the lawnmower or whatever you got to do that requires walking and standing because you're not going to sit down for a while.
I've been wanting to play video games for like a month.
I stand up a lot and play video games.
I still went. We should invent walkers. And I don't mean like old people walkers. I mean like a platform that you can walk on while you're playing video games.
Like a treadmill.
Yeah. But specifically design it. Like, specifically sell it to gamers. You ever seen them take an old invention and just like be like, you know what?
Let's try this.
Let's do it this way. You know what I mean? You remember the old gaming chairs from the 80s that were just...
Yeah.
Well, now they sell those as BDSM furniture. They just flip them over.
It's a gaming chair and it's a sex chair.
Somebody figured it out. But no, like they make them for desks and shit, right?
Right.
I mean, you can even integrate it to the game.
For sure.
Like you want to sprint, you gotta actually run. Wouldn't that be great for a zombie game?
Dude, I've seen that shit on like, sci-fi movies. You know what I mean? They're like, basically, you got 3D on, but you're basically suspended. You're not, none of your body weight is really on your legs.
Right.
And they're on a treadmill. And you can run and it'd be cool as shit. I'm telling you, man, like,
I want a holodeck.
I'm gonna say my ultimate hope is I hope before I die, I just want a holodeck.
A holodeck.
One good trip on a holodeck. That'd be great.
So I'm doing something for my birthday.
What you doing?
Going to isolation chamber.
Where's that at?
Huntington. You know what that is?
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun.
I'm going to do 60 minutes in isolation chamber.
Oh, 60 minutes. Okay. So it's like a water-filled...
It's salt water.
Yeah.
Really thick salt water, so you're extra buoyant. You will not sink. You're extra buoyant. Like you might as well be on like some kind of weird mattress.
And
like you're.
if I remember correctly, the salt is really good for your skin because it soaks
And then
into your skin.
it's completely black.
Yeah, no noise, no sound, no light, no nothing. Just
No nothing. Just 60 minutes of complete silence and weightlessness.
I mean, it sounds fun.
It's not a fun thing. It's more of an experiment thing. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
it
gonna
sounds
eat a little
interesting. I guess fun was the
I'm
wrong
going to
word.
eat a little bit of mushrooms. Not trip, but just like microdose before I go in. And I'm just going to like go into my depths.
I think a good 2 or 3 days out at the campsite will help me do that.
No, dude, I
I get away from the world.
I love to reset.
Just go barefoot for 2 or 3 days and just,
Grounding's real.
For 100%.
Grounding's real.
100%.
Like, yeah, I firmly believe it.
Yep.
I want to
do it all the
get.
time, man. I take off my shoes. I got a little fire pit in the backyard. Take off my shoes and go sit out back.
As much as I'm looking for a campsite, dude, I wish I could just find. And I'm Camp RX looking too. Now this is something I haven't scrubbed out, and I'm still looking around. I don't know if you ever look into Camp RX. But if I can find us a cool little spot along a river, not on a campground, that'll rent out as a campsite for 5 days. You know what I mean? Like not at a campground. Like Camp RX, these people are putting like what's the bed and breakfast site?
Oh, you mean like some Airbnb shit?
Airbnb, yeah, but they do it with campsites.
Yeah, so if you own riverfront property, you just make a campsite and
Yeah, and I mean, dude,
sell it, or not sell it, but rent it out for the week or to.
Yeah. Yeah, if I can find an Airbnb kind of deal like that, big campsite, I'd take that. I don't have the campers or nothing. Like I got everything I need.
Yeah, dude. Like I'm not even lying to you. That campsite you had last year was nice.
You like that?
I did.
I hated that site.
That shit was isolated. There was nobody around. It was quiet. It was dark at night. I liked it.
You liked it? Man, I hated that site.
Yep.
That was my least favorite campground I've ever been to.
I was only there 2 days though.
Yeah,
so.
like nothing felt. I love the historical stuff, but once I'd seen all the historical stuff and snapped a couple pictures, I was like, "There's a beach, but it's a 10-minute drive away."
Right.
You know, I can go fish, but
It's 10 minutes too.
It's 10 minutes too. You know, like everything. Like the only thing close is bathrooms.
Yeah, but the seclusiveness of it, because where you were there in the middle of the week and you had that whole circle to ourselves. I mean, that was nice. You know what I mean?
Right, but it was just a matter of time, man, before everybody pulled in.
Oh yeah, probably Thursday, Friday, you start filling up. But
you know, that's what I'm thinking though. When we go camping, we should go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, it's probably the most I could go.
Well, I mean, yeah, but avoid the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
I like to go. That's
we went up to Sutton. We went up to Sutton one year on some off time. Just went up there. It was right at the end of COVID. The store wasn't even open. There wasn't a soul on the campground except for us, the park ranger, and the weird naked biker guy. Hey, weird naked biker guy, you gave me new inspiration and dreams, by the way. I want a Harley now.
Right.
Dude, they were there like 3 days. This was great. Like I picked it up the first night. But by day 3, I was like, damn, this is really a thing. Like, so like, day 1. Now we had been there like,
Jared Freeman?
Yeah. We had been there like 2 days. Like I said, wasn't nobody on the entire place. Like, I mean, you could scream. Wasn't nobody coming to help you. Like, wasn't nobody around. So, all of a sudden, this Harley pulls in. Little tent on the back. I'm like, dude, that's how I want to live, you know? And he got off the Harley, and he pulled his stuff off, and he set up this little tent, little 3-man dome tent, and fired up the fire pit. He had a girl with him. Made a couple steaks. You could smell them cooking. Like, made good dinner. And it was getting dark. Right about dark, like, you know, me and her sitting there by the tent, you know, we sitting there by the fire real quiet, and I look up and I see them take off on the motorcycle. I didn't think nothing of it. It was dark. About 3 hours later, I get up, I go to the bathroom, and I come back. I got in the middle of the night, went to the bathroom, and I come back, and as I'm coming back and I'm getting to the tent, it's pitch black. You can't see me. I'm standing there by the tent. And I hear bah, 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 and that Harley comes in, and they come in, and they are butt stark naked on that bike, just riding, happy as hell. I mean, I never seen my smile. So like, I guess that's what 60-mile-an-hour wind on your nuts.
Yep.
Riding on leather on a Harley does. Like night 2, 10 o'clock sharp, nice and dark. I hear a Harley take out. I swear to God, man, just timing. I got up in the middle of the night, went behind the tent to piss. I hear bah, 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 a motorcycle come back in, and I look over, and all I can see is fucking skin. I'm like, fuck. Night 3, 10 o'clock sharp. Bah, 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 bah. And I was like, this man done gave me new inspiration.
Right.
Like, do you do this every night?
He brought a Harley, a tent, and some nakedness, and they had a great
yeah,
weekend.
Yeah, all weekend long. Like, all weekend long. I was like, dude, I am not living. That was one of the moments where I was like, I am not living my life to its full potential.
Right.
There are parts of freedom that I'm not experiencing. But look, man, we put in an hour and 20.
Yeah.
I got to go in and get the cab.
Yeah, it's good that we got a good stream now. And
oh, yeah, dude, it's been solid tonight.
so we're getting things heading in the right direction to where we shouldn't have any problems moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do some interesting things now. And I'm still looking at some other programs. I might buy some more editing programs and get some other things running. But yeah, you know what? This is for fun anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
If we get monetized, we can't say certain things.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. So,
yeah.
while we're not monetized, fuck it.
Yeah. You know, there's a new YouTube policy, though, I read the other day. I heard somebody say it, and then I read it, but, like, say we go into another pandemic, and we're not allowed to talk about how Tylenol will cure the problem. You know, it will, but they want you to take, you know, Advil. You know, you got to take the Advil every other fucking week. But you're like, nah, this Tylenol, you know. And say there's a website that proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt scientifically, that this Tylenol will fix problem in one dose. You don't need 7 Advils. New YouTube policy states that you can be banned for directing them to that site.
Yeah. So, a couple of the people that I follow on YouTube, they're not allowed to tell you to go follow them over on Rumble. Because if they tell you to go to a competitor's website, they can be banned.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So they have to say, go over to the other social media channels or whatever,
Man,
however they word it out. You know what I mean?
You just told me and reminded me that I slacked all week. I don't think I caught one real episode of Redacted this week.
I haven't really watched a lot. I watched a couple of YouTube shorts and clips with them this week, but I haven't really watched a lot, honestly.
Spotify gave me an AI DJ.
You know, I honestly am kind of glad that it's supposed to rain tomorrow, because that gives me a reason just to lay around the house and actually recuperate. You know what I mean? Because when it's sunny, I'm playing golf or I'm fishing or I'm always doing something. Like, as soon as I see the sun come up, I'm like, what am I doing now?
Right. No, man. Lay down. Take a nap.
So,
chill out, dude.
I just might tomorrow. But I feel tired as shit right now. So.
Well, man, let's shut this down, and I'll get you home so I can get in the cab and I can get back here. I got to start at 6. So.
Yeah, well, let's get you to the cabbie then. Until next week.
It's been the parlay. We'll do it again.
See you guys next week.
Quick note before we shut down.
What's that?
Find a friend. We got room for another chair here.
I don't have no friends.
Fuck you, man. And that's why we're friends.
Right. Exactly.
All right. See y'all.